I'm shedding Morty tears right now. Those are the saddest.
Morty.
Actually, I take that back. I'm shedding Jerry tears. The
Okay.
saddest tears that can be shed.
Wafting into the wind.
I feel like that was intended for all of us, and it was just 8 episodes too early.
Hello, Mr. Wolf. It just gives you nourishment. Oh, okay.
Unless my sadness gives you nourishment.
Yes.
Don't everybody run out at once and start throwing your Jaguar Funko Pops on the pyre.
This Jaguar Funko. Dang it!
Oh yeah.
Chris. It's happening.
I'll hook you up with Lola. She's my new assistant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What happened?
Um, this episode. All right, so it was pretty much exactly as the uh, episode preview described it. Rick has a confrontation with the president. Not at all the president we thought it would be, but the president nonetheless. Apparently. Although, speak for you and Chris. I don't deserve this. No one deserves this. But yes, all in all, relatively funny story. That kind of played out a little like a bad breakup. But
it was a bad break.
Yes, all in once. Which is, in a sense, it kind of was the cherry on top of the season. Necessarily the one we wanted.
Yes.
But that may very well be remedied if we turn to the conspiracy board. Bum, bum, bum.
But before we
all right. So, we kind of get Rick and Morty being summoned to the White House by the president to handle some gugas down in the Kennedy sex tunnels. They, all sorts of overt innuendo there. But, they pretty much blow it off because screw it, they're Rick and Morty. Who wants to do that nonsense? And it basically from this point starts to play out the breakup storyline of Rick pisses off the president. The president realizes that Rick can't be trusted. They try to one-up each other for a while until the president realizes that, Rick is just better at being president than he is. In which case he seems kind of hell-bent to just destroy him, which we've already seen as Rick's fought Rick. That's not an easy task to do.
Nope.
And eventually, he, or I should say they concede to essentially never see each other again. To where, Rick bounces off to go take his family and go to some new planet or dimension, basically leave Earth because screw this place. And his family has now been reunited with Jerry in it, and they have decided that they don't want to leave. They now all realize that the problem is Rick, and that Rick is the one that needs to change to conform to the family. To which he kind of does. he goes back to the present under the guise of a parallel Rick, and
Shout out
and
to Fisherman Rick.
fly fishing Rick.
Yes, fly fishing.
Yeah. Um, and as Beth says at the end of the episode, we kind of have a reset back to season one, only with more continuity. Yeah, yeah. What about that B side?
Took a lot of fourth wall.
Right, right,
Turn and play helped out.
right.
Trying to figure out whether
Hey, no one knows you like your exes.
uh, who is they go through some meditation. Uh, so kind of have a heart to heart. I mean,
You know,
a realization.
because why not?
Guess why not? We
Clone
fast forward
sense.
later, and this is called after By the way, entire time, the president are fighting each called up more. Uh, and he hit him somewhere. How Rick is. He
Yeah,
finds
pretty
you.
much.
He will.
I don't think he had it right the first time as he shows up with a gun.
Of course he did, because crack team of scientists confrontation.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it blends back. I mean, and the episode.
Yep, definitely, definitely.
Initial Twitter mixed. This was the, post
Right.
hold is
Ooh-wee.
which is funny because that was a nice little. Hope you're not sitting there just on your butt.
And I feel like that was another little wink to the viewers, like, hey, the next season will come out. In the meantime, occupy yourselves.
Yes.
Stop, stop waiting for it to come out and just go do something else.
Oh no, sometimes it's better for them.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
That's
No skin
non-productive.
suits. No inside out Beths.
Ah, I see what you did there.
Yeah. All right. So, going back to the beginning, there were a lot of conspiracy theory kind of Easter eggs and references in here,
Yes.
such as the Kennedy sex tunnels from the beginning, um, the Lincoln Slave Coliseum, which, wow, they took it there.
He did
Um,
save them all.
the Truman Cocaine Lounge,
That part was hilarious.
yes, and the McKinley Hooker Dome, which coincidentally we see in the episode that they have filmed several uh, conspiracy theory fuel scenes there, such as the moon landing, of course, but also Kennedy's assassination, 9/11. A Godzilla set was also in the background. So, pretty, pretty funny. Pretty funny, a little tongue in cheek. We also see that the president, of course, has probably just as many toys as Rick, if not more, um, as he calls on everything from mind erased twins to mech suits to drones to invisible soldiers to help fight this battle with Rick that
Yep.
rages on through the White House. So, we got those. We also got the Minecraft reference later on in the episode where Morty is originally playing Minecraft and Rick kind of rips on him for it.
Yep.
And then we fast forward to a little later in the episode, and now Rick's playing Minecraft. And Rick believes himself to be autistic because he likes Minecraft. And he's like, "Oh, what is this created for autistic people? Because I kind of like it, you know."
So,
Um,
one of the
right.
a lot of little things that was.
It is, and a lot of them are kind of like those blink and you'll miss it
Yes.
uh, type moments. We also, the big one for me, we got Beth's first and second and third, fourth wall breaks, where now we see full circle. Beth is becoming Rick.
Yes.
Originally, Rick was the only one breaking the fourth wall, short of Mr. Poopy Butthole. But now Beth is doing it. So is she a clone or is this the real Beth? I don't know. But we definitely see an evolution of Beth either way. So that's kind of neat.
How they managed to. every episode had this problem, but they
Right.
really did. Sorry,
Right. Right.
but
That is very true. And, I remember we were saying shortly after the episode that really they could have taken, was it episode 7, episode 8, the Tales from the Citadel episode, and made that the ending of the season. Um, I feel like it would have been a much better ending, but that's just me. I'm not the creator or the writer or anything to do with it.
I
So
will completely.
yeah,
Stage
right,
of confrontation between Tammy
Tammy,
and any of those happening would have been absolutely epic for
very
that,
true.
which is why.
And I wouldn't put it above the creators to find some sneaky way of introducing a very, very, very last episode of the season sometime in the mid or in between the seasons,
Mhm.
just as a Tammy Bird person or Evil Morty sneak attack, sneak episode,
Yes.
uh, kind of like they did with the April Fool's episode. So, I guess keep your eyes peeled for that because I still see that coming. I don't feel like they're just going to leave us hanging like that.
Mhm.
There's still too many threads left dangling, and this episode cleared up none of them. I think it was supposed to at least try to put us at ease about whether or not Beth was a clone, but that was a very recent thread in the overall arc of the season.
Also another thing, character behind it means weak.
Yeah, which is actually pretty funny. It's another one of those tongue-in-cheek references.
Yes. Which is funny because
This is true.
so going on this episode, heck of a job as the president. Heck of a job. In fact, I think right after the episode ended,
Fair enough, fair enough. But that actually brings up a very good question, um, and one that I think fans all over the internet are searching for an answer for, and that is what has happened to the antagonists that we had building up throughout the season. Tammy, Bird Person, Evil Morty, even Squanchy, even though he's not an antagonist, just where is he?
which
Um,
I like. Great redirection because day of the
true,
so
true,
kudos. They keep everyone thinking. I really like the fact that they know
true.
what people are thinking. The episodes based off of had Pandemonium.
Yes. Yes.
But to answer your question, I'm kind of glad, but then I'm kind of not glad that they didn't come to Jesus. So final battle, I guess you could have season 4 and maybe.
You know, it's quite possible.
So
Right.
maybe that.
You know, it should be interesting.
Oh, I
Well,
mean, either
it
way, it's
will
gonna
be
be interesting
interesting.
TV. Yes, absolutely. Um,
He has
hit
a
over
child
2
splatter.
million views.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
hit
that
over
sounds about
2
right.
million views, which I
Yeah.
think it was like 2.3 million views.
Again, everybody was holding out for you for Morty.
Season 4.
You know, let's go over the whole thing. You know, basically what this episode means for season 4
Yes.
or leading into season 4. Um, Again, we still don't have confirmation on whether or not Beth's a clone. And I feel like they played around with that a lot in this episode, and that's something that we didn't really touch
They
on.
played around
Yeah,
why she had sex with Jerry.
exactly. You know, she's not even sure if she's a clone. She's
I mean,
convinced herself that she is.
the only
Exactly. Because Jerry is what? Weak.
I'm
Who
getting
gets
really
fooled by
good
the.
at this.
But
But I'm looking forward to season 4. It has a lot of hype heading.
mhm.
I mean, just like with big fan of NCIS. Had an antagonist ready,
Right.
which is why I am glad that we have antagonists waiting for guys. So I don't know. We're good.
See you in about a year and a half. You know,
Well, he did
God,
say around
hope
the
it's not
time that
another
he
year
has
and a
a
half.
white Santa Claus,
Very true.
internet.
You know, I feel like that would be pretty epic, especially with all the Rick and Morty Christmas sweaters floating around out there.
Yep.
That would be pretty awesome.
I actually do want to get
Word. You know, as long as you get the Santa Reuben sweater, you know, we'll be good. um,
Oh
but
goodness.
no, I mean, I do agree with you to an extent that it is good that we have these antagonists leading into season 4 because I think that now that the family storyline is for the most part wrapped up, it leaves, you know, the whole universe open to the now adventures of Rick and Morty. And I feel like if everybody thought that Rick was just on one this season, you were going to see a brand new Rick just fueled with rage and hate going into season 4 because he now sees Jerry as his main antagonist.
Yes.
You know, the one person that with all of his intelligence, he cannot seem to get rid of or shake from his life. And
he did.
you
Jerry
know,
is a pariah.
yep,
Which is because
exactly. He's like kudzu. Once he takes root, like it's just hard to get rid of him.
it's hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
In fact, it's
And
not
so
gonna happen, ladies and gentlemen.
exactly. And now that the rest of the family has accepted him back, it's not like Rick can kill him or dump him off somewhere. He basically has the same status now as Morty to the rest of the family. He's going to have to protect and come back with Jerry if he even takes Jerry anywhere anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like that'll be a interesting relationship to see develop in season 4. And, also, too, again, going back to our antagonists, we still have a field of antagonists from the president of the U.S., the president of the Citadel, being Evil Morty, Tammy and Bird Person, whatever's left of the Galactic Federation.
Yep.
We have all of these antagonists, Supernova from the Vindicators.
We do have
Supernova.
Yeah. We sec.
Okay.
The people are.
Uh-oh.
They want. Now that we're finished with the.
Best episode, Tales from the Citadel.
I think that's the best
Hands
episode of the season.
I think it's the best episode of the show. Really, honestly,
of the show, yeah. In fact, we might.
Why not? Put some real time and thought into this.
Exactly.
But worst episode of the season. I don't know, man. There weren't really any bad ones per se.
If you line them all up, had to choose that one kid not.
Oh, it would definitely be this last episode. I would rank it at number 10 for the season. Yeah, look, it was a soft close. It really was. It was just, yeah. Again, Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon have done a very good job this episode of building up the hype and building up the suspense and building upon a story that was already pre-established in season 2, like any good show should do. I feel like this episode was super out of place for where it was in the season.
Yeah.
And although it was still an entertaining episode, it still gave us some character development. I just don't see where it stacks up with the rest of the episodes in the season. So, I even preferred Morty's Bond Blowers more than this one, and only because we knew going into it. It was a filler episode. It was supposed to be nothing but fun. There was no character development.
Nope.
It was what it was. It was our interdimensional cable stand-in. So, yeah.
I'm also agreeing with you. This is compared to them all. We get it. Like that's how close it is.
Still within the margin of error.
Still within that. That's the Vindicator episode.
Okay. All right. I could
character development because we haven't seen.
That's true.
Brand new character, like we knew They already established, so we.
And while that is true, also remember the last time that we saw Evil Morty before episode 8
Yep.
was season 1.
Yes. Everyone's still talking about back.
And that is true.
Thinking about this.
That's fair. That's fair. But it's kind of like Rick says, there's 20 people that try to kill him a week. He ends up getting high with half of them. Like,
this is true.
It's very easy to toss these antagonists to the side. Even Tammy. Tammy was never mentioned.
Tammy was never mentioned.
Yeah.
Never.
Tammy was never mentioned by Rick, Morty, anyone else.
Factor when she.
This is true, which all the more reason why I felt like at least Summer, having been Summer's friend, would have brought it up at some point in the season.
Transitional phase.
And that's true.
But
so
speaking of things, what all he did.
All right, and I see where you're going at with this, but I'm going to start back with the first of the two examples that were given.
Go for it.
And that is when Rick, Morty, and the president all end up in Brazil because some scientists have discovered a miniature civilization in the rainforest. The president is, hell-bent on showing up Rick and shrinking down to go interact with these people diplomatically. Only to then find out that Rick and Morty have already been there and have already, essentially signed a peace declaration with them on behalf of the U.S.
Yep.
So, the president is very obviously pissed off.
Despite the fact that the president is getting credit.
Exactly. Because he knows in his heart of hearts he didn't do it. But then also while they're trying to figure out how it is that this happened, we also fast forward and Rick is essentially in a Star Wars cantina with the presidents of Israel and Palestine getting high off of a laser bong or laser hookah, and basically hashing out peace for the Middle East. Another feat that the president couldn't seem to do that Rick did seemingly as an afterthought.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Simplistic.
Again, because it was an afterthought for Rick. This is probably something that he thinks about when he's on the toilet. And he's like, oh, yeah, that would be super easy. And then, goes off to do something else. Like, these are tasks that typically would be below Rick's level. But because he was trying to prove a point, he did them. So, he's basically showing up the president and telling him, I don't need you. No one needs you. You are replaceable. Your job is made up. I could do what it takes you 4 years to do in an afternoon.
Yes. I still got the rest of
So that was very, very a hilarious little sidebar that he had there.
That was
Oh yeah, hands down. But I mean, as far as season 4 goes, what I would like to see, having our current wealth of knowledge, is I would like to see Evil Morty kind of form a coalition of all of these antagonists who want to go after Rick.
Yeah.
Especially because if we run with the assumption that Evil Morty is his original Morty, then he would know, okay, fine, I can't take Rick head on. He'll see this coming. He'll have a contingency for it.
Yeah.
But what he can't have a contingency for is all of us coming after him at once. So, and especially because you have all these antagonists in the wings that much like Tammy and Bird Person, we got a reveal of them, or we might have gotten an episode of them, but they haven't had their chance to shine yet. And I feel like that could be what season 4 is all about, is all of these guys essentially taking their shots and setting Rick up for the ultimate failure at the end of the season. Yeah. And again, this ties back to, Clone Beth and Evil Morty basically using what he thinks is the real Beth to come after Rick.
In fact, I can see.
I
Do something big. After the way that
I
this season ended, and
you
don't
know
get it wrong, they don't. But the way that this,
right, it had the softest ending of the other or all 3 seasons so far. The first season we got the reveal of Evil Morty. Second season we got Rick going to Federation jail.
yeah,
And then this season we just basically got a soft reset to season 1. So, hopefully it's not a sign of things to come, but I don't think that Tammy and Bird Person will be the first ones out the gate, and only because of Rick's attachment to Bird Person. If they are the first ones out the gate, I think it'll be more of a warning shot than the actual confrontation.
okay.
Because again, you always send the pawns out first. It'll be your supernovas, or maybe some alternate version of Rick that gets sent out first to kind of test Rick and see what new devices or new schemes maybe he's come up with since the last time we've seen him.
Yeah.
Again, remember back to that episode, Evil Morty was trying to extract Rick's memories through Evil Rick. And I think that he was doing that in preparation for confronting Rick. So, I need to know what you know so that I know how to counter it. I am not 100% sold on that. I could totally see that happening just from a story aspect. But, I mean, let's just really be real about it. It's just like Rick said with when he was talking to Beth, who presumed to be a clone. It didn't really matter as, whether she was a clone Beth or the real Beth. All Ricks love all Beths. In much the same way that I feel like all Ricks, in some degree, love all Mortys, or at least need their Mortys.
Yep.
And so, it may not have been this Rick that abandoned him, but he's taking it out on all Ricks, starting with the ricketiest Rick.
Um,
And that could be very true. I mean, think about the first time that we do see Evil Rick and Evil Morty pop up.
mm-hmm.
A lot of the Ricks, they're just straight capping and stealing Mortys. So he's already eliminated quite a few Ricks.
Yes.
I don't necessarily think that taking or killing this Rick is in his plans. But I do think that because this Rick is probably one of the few that haven't conformed to the ways of the Citadel, that it is very imperative to Morty that before another Rick can find him, he needs to submit and, be under the new regime or be eliminated. And since we all know that Rick won't conform, he's gonna have to be eliminated. I mean, no Rick is necessarily gonna lead a rebellion, quote unquote, But Rick has done it in the past, as we've heard through Bird Person, where, he, Bird Person, and Squanchy were all part of some rebellion against the Galactic Federation.
Yeah.
So it's not completely outside of Rick's nature to do it. I just don't think that it was Rick's idea then, and I don't think that it will be now. He could give two craps less about the Citadel. So unless there is some sort of catalytic change, i.e., Morty gets taken, Beth gets threatened, even Summer, something happens to any of them, then okay, maybe yes. But up until that point, I feel like, Rick and Evil Morty are kind of going to be on neutral ground until Evil Morty is ready to strike, or until Rick deems that Evil Morty is just too much of a problem for his personal life. Very welcome. So, season 3 in the can. God only knows how long it will be until season 4 comes. Oh, man, my heart just skipped a beat when you said that. What? I'm calling this a 7 months.
I think
max.
it's gonna be. In fact, I think it's gonna be under.
I could see that. The main reason why I give it 7 is, again, that puts us right after the whole April Fool's time mark. It still gives them time to flesh out any stories that they may have already been working on.
So out.
Right, exactly.
Go into different.
Exactly. Because, again, remember, this season was supposed to have 14 episodes originally, and they condensed it down to 10. Yeah, so
we may or may not.
Yeah, this is true. If you listen to the Reddit boards, yes, we very well could get a Christmas episode. But I feel like in true Rick and Morty fashion, we will get that episode sometime around May. Yeah.
We're gonna get 2 episodes. Get a Valentine's Day one. And then we're gonna get.
I will see your 3 holiday themed episodes and call you at 1 actual episode and possibly 2 or 3 shorts that get released, via Adult Swim, via the Rick and Morty website, possibly even Instagram again. Kind of like what they did with the Pickle Rick episode.
Yes.
I don't necessarily feel like it'll be 3 fully fleshed out episodes, and if they are, that is a big if. If there are, they will be one-offs. They will have nothing to do with either season.
Yes. And
it'll kind of be, a quick little shot in, hey, let's check up on Rick and Morty. What are they up to? But yeah, I would love it if, like I was saying earlier, they had a sneak attack episode, sometime around February, March, where you just have a one-off episode like they did with the April Fool's episode, where, maybe it is part of the season, maybe it's not. Yep. But just like with Tammy and Bird Person finally, confronting Rick in a sneak attack, we get a sneak episode. That would be pretty awesome. Yeah. I'm just saying, give it another 2-3 day notice, and boom, there you go. And I can agree with that. I don't think it'll be another year and a half.
They twice. It was pretty time to let that content.
This is true. And again, even if they break it up to where we get half of the season, right?
If not
Like
better
I'm still
than
okay
a
with
2-year wait.
it. Exactly.
Like
So
your fan base is rabid
exactly.
because suddenly someone gets lucky.
Because
House get bankrupt.
this is true. And I mean, again, with the soft close of this season, I do feel like, they're kind of, if they haven't already, which I'm sure they have because, these guys plan well in advance.
Of course.
Um, but I'm sure that they have something in the can to kind of sate fans and be like, haha, psych, this is the actual last episode. Um, just to kind of tie some things off and lead into the next season.
Yes.
So, even if it's a Jerry Rick confrontation, kind of like we saw with Whirly Durley, um, it could be that. It could not even be one of the outside antagonists. It could just be with Jerry. And that's how we lead into season 4 with this, pre-established or re-established dominance of Rick and the family.
Yep.
No,
I feel
no.
like
And I mean,
the fan and very patient as well too.
and I don't think they will. Again, this is the softest close that we have seen of any season to date. Um, and I do like to feel like that is for a purpose. It is so that we get hit with that sucker punch of whatever the next episode is, just coming completely out of left field and leaving us feeling like the opener of this season did, where, okay, that was great, that was awesome, we never saw it coming, oh my God, we want more.
Yep.
Um, so, I feel like that will be the case again. Because I have to tell you, like, I was tuning into Adult Swim for like the next 2, 3 weeks afterwards, just hoping that another episode was going to come out. Even after they announced, like, oh, the next episode won't come out until July. And I was like, nah, you guys playing. Nah, you got me once. Shame on you. I'm just going to keep watching till the next one comes out because
I
I'm sure it'll be a sick episode.
I still remember when I just stumbled upon it
Yeah, exactly.
and I was like, crap. And I contacted you and friends on.
And it's funny because I think they might have maybe given a day or a few hours notice
Mm,
that the episode was coming out. So, everyone had been waiting for a year and a half, or what was it, 1 year,
one
5 months,
year,
28
5 months,
days?
28 days. Yep.
Exactly. So 2 days short of a year and a half. Shout out to Mr. Love.
Of course.
Um, and I don't really feel like anyone was ready for it to come out quite on the money like that. So, it I feel like they're probably going to try and do that at least one more time in the show's run.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if it'll be this time. Maybe they'll just roll the season right out from that point. But I do think that we will see that again because every season they try to give us something new. Um, season 1, they uploaded a complete episode on Instagram a day before it actually aired. For season 1, we actually got a whole bunch of Mr. Meeseeks and Rick and Morty promos around the country before that episode came out.
Yes.
So, and then season 3, we got the April Fool's episode. So, I there will be something that I am sure of. What it is, that I am unsure of,
Mm.
but it'll be something.
I
So,
will say
fingers
one thing.
crossed, eyes open.
Uh,
Yeah, go for it.
I think I'm
You know, I'm gonna stick to making Chris do that for me. You know, he's gotta earn his pepperoni somehow.
Oh boy.
You know,
Live
that's
on debates among half an hour.
that's awesome. I don't even need a half hour. I'm gonna build like a super industrial fire pit out back and get him a little hazmat suit, seal in the flavor.
I got
And
a
yeah,
host.
oh well, then I'm not interested anymore. Feel your flesh from your bones. You know,
Oh
that actually
gosh.
reminds me. I sent Chris an article on the Fleam.
Mhm.
Remember that?
Yes.
Fleam from Futurama? Yeah, yeah. And it reminds me, I don't think he's opened it yet. You should really read that, Chris. It's very, very informative. Very informative. It just might save your life one day.
It probably
Just saying.
it probably
Yeah.
it probably won't,
It's like
Chris.
beer
You
attacks.
shouldn't do it. Do it. Think
Anytime I send you something that says open me, don't open me.
uh,
You know,
you should probably run for the hills.
hey, I'm just gonna send him a little present. You know, little piece of cake, little glass of wine. Says eat me, drink me. Never seen Alice in Wonderland or Through the Looking Glass. That's
And
cool. You don't need to at this point.
yeah, it wasn't that
Just
good of
just
a
do.
movie.
That is very, very true. You know, so send in your comments, your suggestions. You know, I'm open to pretty much anything except for the personal life of Madonna.
I see
Um,
what you did there.
is off the table, as is Britney Spears' alleged drug of choice that is also off the table for the
Yeah,
Duchess. So, um, you know, but pretty much anything outside of that.
that's just
Hey, it's got to be lines in the sand somewhere.
it does. But be sure to follow us. Hit that. And also our Instagram track because goodbye, Moonman.
Um, R.I.P. Bowie.
All right.
And I am the dude.
And we'll
Be one together, cosmos without hatred. Stars like diamonds in your eyes. The ground can be space, 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 space. With feet marching towards a peaceful sky. All the movement want things their way. But we make sure they see the sun. Goodbye, moonlight. We say goodbye, moonlight. Goodbye, moonlight. Goodbye, moonlight. Cosmos without hatred, diamond stars of cosmic light, quasars shine through endless nights, and everything is one in the beauty. And then we say goodbye, moonlight. We say goodbye, moonlight. Goodbye, moonlight. Goodbye, moonlight. And now we say goodbye, moonlight. We say goodbye, moonlight. Goodbye, moonlight. Goodbye.